I think we need to spend a little time on Aaron Donald.
Well,
with the way we just saw him there.
Right.
But focus in on him a little bit more. And Maddie, I believe we have a couple of the same question, correct? Okay, so Aaron Donald, I think he should have been the MVP. I love Kupp as a pick.
Yeah.
I also love Stafford as a pick.
Love them all. It's
but,
not personal.
The fact that the Bengals were inside the 15-yard line a couple of times and didn't score touchdowns, he was right in the middle of that.
Right.
I mean, that's, to me, how he would deserve to be the MVP.
The Rams,
let alone the final drive.
No, the Rams. I'm with you. Yeah. I mean, really, you go from the end of the second quarter, or let's say the third quarter on. He dominated the second half.
Yeah.
Almost every drive has one or two plays of Aaron Donald that drive up.
Yeah.
And what I'd like everybody to know is the Bengals only had one drive the whole game. Their drive to make it 10.
Yeah.
To go from 13-3. That was the only drive they had of the game. Like you explained already. It's a long pass to Higgins.
Yep.
All right, for one touchdown. You have the Jamar Chase long pass on the right sideline to set up the first field goal.
Yeah.
After you take that away, they really did nothing else in the football game.
They twice had it inside the 15 and had to kick a field goal.
Right. Well, they got the
one was the
one. The other one, and the other one was the Jamar Chase down the right sideline. Yeah. Jalen Ramsey. Listen, the Rams put Jalen Ramsey in some tough spots, and he did not play his best. He did some good things still in this game, and he allowed the Rams to be creative with their coverages because of his skill set, where they could go, hey, you're on this guy, now we can run a zone over here, right?
Right.
And that was big, certainly. But here, this is to me one of the themes of the game.
Huge
moment.
Early third quarter, 3rd down and 3, quite manageable.
Yes.
On the 13-yard line, and Donald comes up with a play.
Right, and Joe Burrow had just converted the 4th and 1 a few plays before by scrambling up the middle.
Yeah.
Right, and here, just go back one more time just so I can talk about the alignment, Matt. So this is to me where it changed. In the second half, the Rams got in more creative alignments with their front. And what I mean by that is they got in more fronts where it made it harder for the Bengals to double Aaron Donald. In the first half, they played a little bit of the, hey, we think our 4 can just get there. And the 4 got around him, but it wasn't dominating the way they wanted to. But what they did here in the second half is a lot of these type of looks. Put a guy over the center. Might have been Gaines. This one's a linebacker in Jones. But now the center can't bump out to the right and help 77 Adonijah, who's one-on-one with Aaron Donald. So that's to me one of the big adjustments Raheem Morris, defensive coordinator for the Rams, made in the second half. He found more ways to be a creative up front to free up their whole unit. And then you can see there. I mean, Aaron Donald, one-on-one, he just dominates him.
Oh, my God.
Right. To where there's no chance. Burrow wants to throw the ball quickly to Boyd here. He does not have him. The Rams, again, within the Bengals played one of these, this is what we do and we're going to do it. There was too many of these plays where it's like, look, they knew Boyd wanted to break inside. I mean, look, he was playing inside all the way. And so there was so many plays where I felt like they knew. And then when they got their fronts married up a little bit and figured out, okay, wait, this is what they're doing protection-wise, and they cracked the code there, it was the creativity of the fronts, like you see there, the smattering of 5-man rush, which I was a little skeptical about before the game. I'll be first to tell you.
Yeah.
So they did that. And here, show this one more time, this part of it, Matt. And then they started stunting more. Like, look at the left side of the defensive line here. 91, I think it's 45 on the side. They're going to slant in. Jones, 50, is going to wrap around behind them, right? So they started doing more movement up front. And that really, to me, was a big part of their success in the second half. And that's, to me, where I also get into, again, not to go back to it, but if they had a lead and Odell was in the game, and then you get them into, oh, shit, we're behind and we got to throw. I mean, it could have got worse. That's where they got to be in a position of power where they didn't necessarily have to throw it as desperately as I thought they might have to at some points.
Right.
But it was that adjustment by Raheem Morris, I think. And there's a lot of different examples of how they did it, but that kind of sums it up as a whole.
One of the things you've opened my eyes to these last 3 seasons we've been doing this is how a 5-man rush normally doesn't work.
Right.
I was watching the game, went back and watched it over and over again. Their 5-man rush was working a lot, whether they rushed the 5 or only brought 4. I know you kind of started to go down that road a little bit, but I want to hear a little more about why the 5 was effective and about those creative fronts that you kind of mentioned.
Yeah, they get in the 5-man front. You don't know wait, all 5 are coming. Oh, wait, 4 came, 1 dropped out. or it's a 4-man front, somebody blitzes and somebody else drops out, which we love all the time, right?
Yeah.
It looks like a blitz, but it's really not,
right.
But it messed up your protection. There was a lot of that going on.
And oftentimes they need to show 6 or 7, like, oh, maybe 7 are coming. They weren't doing that.
No,
they
were not
showing 6.
No, they just showed
really
5, and it was just it was 4 or 5 almost the whole game.
Yeah.
But a variation of how they did it, really. And in the first half, I think that's the thing I took away more. They kind of just went, hey, here's our 4, and just go upfield and get them. There wasn't even a ton of stunts or anything like that. I think when they realized, man, they're on to us, and they found a way to double Donald in these ones. Second half, that's when they got into looks like that. Or if they did just the normal 4-down look, they were twisting and stunting, and the Bengals were having a hard time passing it off. Or, hey, the play Joe Burrow hurt his ankle on, they put Gaines over the center. Right, so now the center can't go anyway. They put the other guys really wide. So now 2 linemen had to go out on the 2 other guys on each side. It was a 5-man rush again. And now you got 2 guys on 2 on the right, 2 on 2 on the left, and they get to Joe Burrow there with Von Miller and everybody. So they created the one-on-one matchups they wanted. All right, they got to that. And I think also, too, with the 5-man rush, why they smattered with a little bit, like the 4th and 1 we saw. Burrow, it was – oh, wait, there's a lane. Boom, I'm just going to take off and go. The 5-man rush clogged the lane up. So where Joe a few times I think thought like, man, I'll just try to run up. And it was like, oh, shit, I can't get through there. I get sacked. Yeah. Right.
Let's take a look at the final play.
Yeah.
Because it's more Aaron Donald.
Sure.
And it's more the Rams front getting it done.
Yeah. Aaron Donald getting the front, getting it done. I mean, first off, what Aaron Donald does, all right, and one other thing that, just a talking point here, where Joe Burrow is going to kick himself in the ass is really 2 plays before this. They had a 2nd and 1, and you might remember this. He threw the fade to the right sideline to Jamar Chase and threw it out of bounds.
He may as well have punted it. Chase was jogging. He was 20 yards behind the play. Joe threw it 10 yards out of bounds.
Right.
It was
a waste of a play.
Giveaway of a play in a major situation.
No doubt. It was a 2nd and 1, and it was really a very similar look to this defense, except down here at the bottom of the screen, it was Jamar Chase, but Jalen Ramsey was like 10 yards off. Yeah. And he was calling a go route. And Jamar Chase is like, yeah, I'm awesome, but I'm not going to be able to run by him and run a go route. I think he thought, like, there's no way he's going to come to me here. And Burrow really didn't even look, kind of just like looked down the middle of the field and just threw it like Chase was going to be there. But where Burrow, I think, is going to kick himself in the ass is he had an alignment like we're seeing here in this picture, and he had basically 3 slants on top on that 2nd and 1, and he had Boyd and had Higgins, and he would have got the first down and extended the drive.
Yeah.
And for some reason, he went to that, and that was a throwaway play.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we had the great tackle on 3rd and 1 by Aaron Donald, which was, again, another play to go, holy shit, that was amazing. He just stopped the guy running full speed in his tracks and was like, no, you stop here. No first down for you. I mean, come on, that was freaky.
Yeah.
And now we got the play where, hey, Burrow's now going to look up to the left of the screen. He's going to look there, right? And as they look there, it's nothing's really there, as you could see. There's nothing there. He might have wanted to throw the ball to Higgins, but you could see everything's tight. And now he's going to reassess, but by the time he reassesses, it's too late. What's more amazing, if you could just go back a little bit, Matthew, is the fact that the center is helping the left guard here. The left guard needs to go, wait, I know my center can help me here. I need to get on the outside of Aaron Donald. But he still let Aaron Donald get outside of him and beat him around the corner. But as you'll see, the center is there to help him on any inside move. But Spain still gets beat by it. Why? Because this is one of the greatest defensive players in the history of football. I mean, to be able to turn the corner that sharply,
man,
off of a 3 technique and get the sack, or he didn't get the sack. Burrow, amazing, just getting the ball out of his hands. But that's just, it's amazing.
Almost completed it.
Almost completed it. And if he doesn't get there that quickly, Joe Burrow's going to scramble to his right a few steps, and Jalen Ramsey fell down, and Jamar Chase is going to catch the game-winning touchdown.
Right.
I mean, so that's where this game is crazy. It's so close. But Aaron Donald, to what we're showing here, should have been the MVP. Great game, nonetheless. A lot of respect for both teams.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.